And I see us there, so we're live. And good afternoon or good evening, everyone, wherever this message finds you. Really interesting topic today. I'm here with Amanda Savona, who is a law of attraction and abundance coach. And I've been following Amanda for a while now, and her journey in her high vibe tribe. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's she's often keeping me in check as well on just elevating my own vibrations and keeping that positive mindset. So welcome, Amanda. Thank you so much for accepting this invitation. Maybe you can say a little bit about yourself and how you've entered this space.
Of course. Thank you, Hannah. It's a pleasure to be here. I absolutely love talking about all this, so it's always a pleasure. So for me, it all started like almost 10 years ago when I was pregnant with my daughter, and it was actually a bit of a hard time in my life because we had just decided we were going to split up. So it's quite like a really hard time where I just didn't know what to do with life. And this is why, when life gives you turbulence, you can really get something great out of it, because I started looking for different answers. And so life led me to looking for new answers, and that's when I discovered law of attraction. And those aha moments you hear about, like when I watched The Secret, that's what it was like, oh my God, everything I ever believed, things I thought were just sort of metaphors, it's all real, it's all fact, it's the way the universe works. And I got super excited. And from that time, I watched The Secret. I never stopped. I just started doing courses, law of attraction courses and business courses, and I got my coaching certification. Started my business about 7 years ago now, and then I was even a head coach on a international coaching program for women called Money Flow Mastery, and that was a lot of fun, just really helping them make more money and grow their business. And coming now where I took a break for a couple of years because I had my second child recently. Well, he's going to be 2 now. And now getting back to work this year and just really reconnecting to my passion and what I absolutely love doing. And it was great to see the contrast of, having my business running and then stopping for a couple of years and then being back. And it really reignited my passion to share this message, because I saw what I was like when I wasn't doing what I love, and I wasn't always a great person to be around, maybe a bit more bitchy or whatever, a bit more moody. And now, it's definitely gives me that space to be myself and share my message. And so that's what really has me being so passionate about sharing how you can use the law of attraction and really ignite your life into abundance by looking deep into yourself.
Wow, that's amazing. And in fact, today we're here to talk about aligning our energy with money flow. And we're just exchanging a little bit about that before we came on live. And I've had my own self-doubts and my own limitations and a lot of blocks where I spent a good, after I left my career, I spent a good number of years, excuse me. I spent a good number of years in the freelance world, and I was getting jobs, but it was always like I was working way too much for many, many hours, not being paid enough. I felt awkward to charge more for my time. I always felt like I was in this state of confusion. And finally, I also had that light bulb moment when I started to pull myself out of it and really own my skills and own my experiences and all the experiences in business that I've had and where I'm at now and what I'm passionate about now, and really looking and finding that true purpose to drive me forward and be able to be in this space. So I want to ask you, let's start off with one question. How does self-worth tie in with making money or making money in your business?
Right. Great question, because I do feel like that's all where it starts. And it's definitely been my experience to learn through going from living broke all the time, to getting my business to a place where it was very comfortable for me, reaching my financial goals, and then again not making money because I had to stop working, and then again making money. And it's almost like it's so hard, but it's so easy. And once you sort of figure it out and you know the formula, this can shift so easily. I've seen it in my life, many of my clients, with my coaches. It's really great, the way it shifts. And the great thing about it is the journey you get to go through, right? Because when we're in a place where our self-value, our self-worth is quite low, it's going to directly show up as an attraction point in our business where we're not making enough of money. Even if you just look at the words, like worth is how much, how much is it worth, how much does it cost, how much value does it have, how much money can I get for it? So really, like, they're really deep emotional words, but they're really also very connected to money. So I do believe everything is connected, right? We are all energy, and everything is just a different energy strand in our life. But when you really look at the self-worth piece, it's a great self-reflection of where you want to start and where you can go with that. So it's important to look at, how you feel about all this and what's really coming up for you, knowing that, if you look at law of attraction, the easiest way to think of it is like a 360-degree mirror, right? That everywhere you go, you always have this mirror. And it's always about what's reflecting out and what's reflecting back at you. And that is always great information, right? Because whether it's good or bad, it helps you get to the next place of a deeper knowing and of continuing to heal yourself to really reach your goals and get where you want to go. So if life is showing you that, you're struggling with money, you're struggling financially, you just can't break out of it, it's not a time to give up. It's not a time to say, oh, this isn't for me and I just can't do this and I'm not worth this. It's a time to ask different questions, right? And to say things like, what is this trying to teach me? How is this reflecting, and what can it lead me to healing so I can really come to a new level of life? And it was funny, like love and money come from the same chakra, right? The sacral chakra. And something interesting I noticed in my life is when I healed my relationship, my romantic relationship, I also healed my money story. And that was actually the year where I broke through with my financial goals. So why am I bringing this up? Because sometimes, you're asking to make money and all this relationship stuff is coming up. And you're thinking, no, I don't want to look at that. I want to just be making money. But this is where you get to really be authentic and really honor what's coming up. The first year when I did my coaching certification, I guess it was about 6-7 years ago now, it was a year-long course, $10,000, right, for the whole course. And they were promising, you can make like loads of money making a coach monthly. So I thought, perfect, I'm going to make some money. That year I made no money. Okay. That year, my money story didn't change because it was the year I had to change my relationship story. It was the year I got to look at how my relationship was affecting my life and lowering my self-worth, lowering my self-value, and lowering my self-love. And until I healed that, I would never have got, to reaching those 5K months. Like, one doesn't come with the other. So you have to really just be where you're at and go with what's given to you and really allow that to just be information.
Wow. Okay. There's so much in there that I want to that's an interesting the relation between your personal relationships and how it's reflecting outward also on what you're doing as a business, or what you're trying to achieve. And I've been coming onto my group and saying like how important the inner work is and the state of mind and how that relates in your business, and really working on that and becoming more strong. What would be like, maybe you have some tools or tips that you use to come into that space of feeling more confident and certain, so that you're maybe more receptive to receiving and more confident to charge and not have this barrier with money? And
yeah, There are many tools out there. The ones that I love using are journaling, tapping, and meditation. You've probably heard me talk about them in my group. And I just love it because journaling really helps you to, just sit with what's happening, sit with what's coming up, really see, look at how you're feeling and really reflect, right? And reflection is such a key part. It's like the beginning, the first stepping stone. You need to reflect on what's actually going on rather than ignoring. And then tapping, you would use next is tapping is EFT, emotional freedom technique, where you tap on the meridians like acupuncture, and you're basically releasing energy. For anyone who's not familiar, you can just find it on YouTube. And basically this really helps to really move and shift the energy so that you can, make space for new stuff to come in. Because like looking at affirmations, affirmations is not just enough to repeat affirmations or just to be positive. You need to look at the blocks. You need to look at what's stuck. You need to allow all that to just come up, work on clearing it, and then shift into what's next. And maybe sometimes that's why people get stuck, because they think, okay, I just have to be positive and things will happen. I just have to think positively. But there's a bit more that goes into that. So that's what works for me. And then when we're talking about money mindset, it can be a bit more specifically around money then. You can be focusing on your money limiting beliefs when you're journaling, and then obviously be tapping out those blocks, and then be meditating on really healing those blocks and allowing space to open up for abundance to flow in. Mm-hmm. And also saying the word abundance always takes me to, abundance starts as a mindset. Okay, it never starts as money in your account. It always starts up here. And this is why money is available to everybody. Okay, now I've been investing in myself for almost 10 years, right? As soon as I discovered, I started investing in myself. And it was never a matter of, I had that first 10K to invest in myself. But it was more like, I knew it was a life or death feeling. If I don't do this, I'm going to die, my soul is going to die. Like that's what it was like, I cannot not do this. And that burning desire really set me off to just be like, okay, I'm just going to find the money, if I remember correctly, it was something like 500 to 600 per month that I was paying. And I think I was earning about 400 a month or something. I don't remember, so it was really a stretch, but there was a lot of faith. There was a lot of faith and belief and a burning desire, and all these really tie into the recipe and formula to making money.
Yeah, definitely. And when do you believe that when you believe, when you're empowered with certainty because you have that faith, right? That burning desire, and you truly believe in something, and it brings up a lot of self-worth, and you have a vision of something that you can achieve, then it really unlocks that potential, and you start inviting signs. Let's say, I call them universal signs, you can call them I don't know what they call them, whatever you want, but universal signs that kind of guide you towards achieving those goals, and guide you towards really truly unlocking that potential that you already have within you, and to start seeing those like different results finally.
Yeah, this plays a big part, and I'm totally with you there. I love trusting the universe and having those signs, and it's so much fun because it's like just a whole other world of trust and faith and belief. And it's just so much more fun living in this way, because when you're not living with like trust, faith, and belief, it means like you're trying to control everything. You need all the answers. You feel like you're alone. And this is when we can really get stuck in that self-doubt, stuck in the mind of, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. Who's going to pay me for my service? What makes me special with all these people, especially now where like online business is booming.
Yeah.
I know I was going to, I was like, oh my God, there's all these coaches now, and I'm getting back to work. Like, what's going on? And then
we're stuck.
But there's only me with my story and my experience, my training, my pains, that I went through my life, and that's what makes everyone unique. That's you do wellness and yoga, right? So that's your community. So there's so many yoga teachers. So, but that shouldn't stop you, because every person has this just uniqueness because of who they are and their story. And there's always the people that only you specifically can help, So this is something we really need to remind ourselves, because especially now, it can really play up on our mind, like, oh my God, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. And that just keeps you in the pool of procrastination and overwhelm, and you just don't take action. So you really have to remind yourself, and a good way is to have faith and trust, and use things like prayer and connection and spiritual signs, where you ask the universe for a sign, and then it comes, and you're like, oh my God, did I ask for that? Is it really here? And it's just a fun process, to live in this way, because it's really inspiring for me. It's inspiring to live this way, and it really helps you to remember that there's a whole other world out there. And in this industry, right, our industry that we're all interested in, having faith, trust, and this deep belief really comes hand in hand, because we're talking about healing, whether it's healing the mind, healing the heart, healing, any pain, healing your money story, whatever that is. It's very much tied to mind, body, spirit's way of living. So it's to really live and be the example you want to attract in your business. Because if you're not doing that, then there's going to be a disalignment with what you're saying, your goals, and how you're acting. And even something like investing in yourself. Obviously we're all here to help people, and we're going to help people by them investing in us. But if we're not first investing in ourselves, and it's not just about the money as well, we invest, but also with time. Like, are we doing our daily work? Are we healing ourselves? We have to really step into that fully in order to send a clear message to the universe that, I do want this to show up. Because it's really interesting what I've noticed in this past 7 years of having my business. When I'm not doing my daily work, my clients are not doing their daily work. When I'm doing my daily work, like the journaling, the tapping, the meditation, they are doing it. It's really incredible, and they're always reflecting us.
Yeah, that's really powerful. You got stuck for a couple of seconds before, but I think I got most of what you were saying. But yeah, I mean, about charging and doing the work and all the time and the energy that we put in, and especially in my community, we have a lot of yoga teachers and wellness practitioners and wellness coaches who, I mean, it's not only that session that you give, it's not that 60 minutes or 90-minute session that you're there, but it's all the preparatory work, and it's all the self-healing that you're doing, and that's a lot of energy that you're investing there, apart from of course all the certification, and this needs to be valued, and this needs to come first from knowing the value yourself before you can start charging for it, and accepting that payment with gratitude and with ease, and not feeling ashamed by it in any way. And as you said at the beginning of this conversation, money is for everyone, and we all deserve it, and we all deserve to live, to have that income.
Yeah. And as you're talking, what I really love to talk about is passion versus making money.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're in this industry where we're helping people, of course. I hear it a lot, and you were sharing with me earlier, you also hear it a lot, that when it comes to people sharing their passion, there is sometimes some guilt that comes up around charging, right? And we need to keep in mind that if we don't charge for our services, then we cannot we cannot have time to do that, and then we have to do other work. And so that means we don't have the time to help others through our work, so although, because I've heard this a lot, like, oh, but it's spiritual and I can't charge for something spiritual. We were made, in the light of God. I don't know if you believe in God, in universe, or higher self, but we were made through abundance. We weren't made in a limited way. I mean, if you look at the body, the miracle that it is, you know, from nothing, we suddenly have this little embryo, which turns into a baby, and then we give birth, and then we have breast milk, and it's like this miracle, you know, of a body that does so much. It can self-heal. So if we know all these things, why do we then think that we need to limit ourselves when it comes to doing what we love and charging our worth? And the reason is because there's a lot of misconception around money. You know, there isn't a good education around money. There's a lot of distortion, like money is evil, and you know, it's just not, you know, rich people are greedy, or all these beliefs that come up. So
the misuse of money and business, and I think a lot of people have this business idea that money is bad, and it's
exactly. And really what you have to look at is a person with money will just be magnified, you know. So if a good person has money, oh my God, that person is going to do so much good. If a bad person has money, oh my God, they're probably going to do a few bad things, you know. And not that I want to say people are bad, but you know, if they have negative tendencies, they will probably use the money for that. So really, we don't have to feel guilty, because, you know, people in our community who were just waking up every day, seeing how we can serve and how we can, you know, help the world be a better place. When we're going to have more money, we're just going to help more people. You know, we're going to help our families and friends foremost, and we're going to see how we can create better things so our clients can transform even quicker. We're going to invest in ourselves even more to learn even more modalities so our clients can shift even faster. You know, so there's really, we really have to look at this, that if you want to do what you love, then you need to make peace with the fact that you have to make money for it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if you do feel like there's something wrong with it, then again, that's information. How do you look deeper within, find out how you're not feeling worthy enough, how you're not feeling valuable enough, and really heal all that so you can really shift that story.
Yeah, that's gold right there. We're gonna end that there. Because that's so powerful, and that's what I've been hearing all the time, and especially during, did I talk about this during our live or before? During the COVID time, a lot of yoga teachers and wellness professionals were kind of put in this situation where they wanted to give a lot of free content and free classes and free sessions, and that's great. And I'm all for helping community and helping each other, who people who are in need, who really need that work. But then having it just as a general, online means free classes, or online means donation-based classes. And it's not, because the energy, and I think a lot of yoga teachers and wellness coaches who have been doing their sessions or have shifted to the online space, that virtual space, during the past couple of months, I've realized that yes, the energy that you put into it is still there. There's still a lot of effort that needs to go into it. And as you said, if you're not going to be paid for your work, if you're not going to be charging for your work, then your professional development is going to be at stake. Then you're not going to be able to serve even more people, because you might have to take that part-time job again, or that dreaded 9-to-5 office job that you hated. That's the reason why you're doing this now. And it all plays a big part.
Totally, 100%, yeah.
Awesome. I'm just gonna hop onto the group to check. Ooh, I have lots of windows popping up. I'm gonna hop on the group to see if we have any. This is the part I'm really bad at, checking if there are comments. I think I just need to pop onto the group.
Okay, cool. Till you do that, you know, I just want to speak to what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to see, okay, the world was going through a tough time, and it's okay that people were giving free stuff. Now we're getting back to normal life, and, you know, we can get back to charging. And something coming up as you were speaking is, you know, free stuff is great, but people don't do free stuff as much, you know, and I'm sure people will relate. Like, people will say they're going to come, they don't show up, you know, it's because there's no value. It's free, there's no value. There has to be a high value even when it's free, you know. So you're sort of wasting your time and wasting people's time because you're not putting that value on it.
Exactly. I totally agree. And it's the perceived value of what they're getting, and therefore it also affects the commitment that both parties put into it.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure anyone can relate because I do as well. Like the free courses I've signed up for, I haven't looked at. So I'm going to
Exactly.
think for a moment. The free stuff you have you looked at it? Exactly. So this is actually causing damage because they're not going to show up. They're not going to be helped. They're not going to transform. So when you pay money for something, you perceive it as valuable, and that's when you really take action.
Definitely agree. Definitely agree on that. I'm not seeing any questions. Does anyone have any questions for Amanda before we close up the session? Maybe I'll just give it a little bit of time.
Sure. And one last thing I want to mention as we're closing up, just a really percentage way of looking at it. You want to think 80% inner work, 20% strategy. So like spend most of your time doing the work and then spend 20% of your time doing the strategy. A couple of years ago, I did a summit and I was interviewing, successful women who were mostly millionaires. And I remember one specifically, and she told me she used to work 15 hours a week, 10 hours of energy work and self work, 5 hours of like marketing and all that strategy stuff. So, and she was making millions. So that's really a great formula. And it's great also because you really get to heal yourself in exponential ways.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. Some of my mentors say 80% mindset, 20% strategy, and it's thereabouts. Or some may argue 70-60 or 90-10. So no questions I see from the tribe. Of course, if you are watching the replay and you do have questions, please hashtag replay and drop your questions there. Amanda's also in the group, so we'll both be able to see them. I'm just getting some comments. We'll definitely catch up on this. Money as energy. Thank you both. You pay and you pay attention. Cool. Thank you, Yasmin, for the comments. And I'm sure maybe some questions will pop up on the replays. So do feel free to do that. And we will get back to you for sure.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool. Anything you want to add to close up?
I think maybe we'll finish off with quickly saying, don't focus on the how, but focus on the what and the why. The how is up to the universe. That's where you get to have faith and trust, really get clear on what you want to create and why you want to create it. And every time you feel inspired, take action.
For sure. If you only focus on the how, or if you focus on I don't know how to do that, you kind of start forgetting the why you're doing it in the first place. And I think this can also like remove the passion in what you do, and you might get sidetracked and somehow the passion might start dying out. And for me, passion and purpose are big drivers in my business, and how things are always changing. How you do something today is probably going to be different, especially if you're working online. It's probably going to be different to how you're going to do it, tomorrow or whatever, the next month. The how is a skill that you can learn, you can ask, you can copy, you can find out. But the true purpose and the true reason of why you're doing what you're doing is what's gonna keep you going.
Yes, 100%.
Cool. Thank you so much, Amanda, for these great tips and positive mindset. A lot to think about, especially on the healing part and the relationship with money, and really accessing and maybe spending some time, some reflection to look within and see how this is showing up for us.
Perfect. Amazing. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I will definitely keep an eye out for the questions.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll drop you a line if you miss them. I'll tag you. Cool. Amazing. Thank you, Anne. Have a good evening, and bye-bye for now, everyone.